Well, hello, guys. How are you? I'm back. What's going on? How is everyone? Yep, did another live stream. Just waiting for some people to come in, but The officer made it clear that the couple stated that they were in love, they were engaged to be married. So, yep. What's up, everybody? Happy Friday night. Happy Halloween weekend. So, what's going on, guys? Let's see. What's going on, people?
How far do you want to go with this? So what I looked at the pose to assault. If you ask her what was your intention when you were slapping him, and she says, I wanted him to hurt or be ill or impair his physical condition, then there's nothing we can do. Whatever she answers to that question will seal her case. Right.
If it became clear that she had the intent to hit him and she was not acting in self-defense, the police clearly believe they would have had to arrest her.
Got it. This is a very, very important question. How you answer this question is going to determine what happens.
Anyway, guys, what's going on? Happy Friday, y'all. I'm still live again. Yeah. Yeah, I did 2 live streams and do another one tonight. Now, the other one I'm going to keep up because, but I don't think I was too much out of character, right? Abraxas. Hi. Yo.
Hey,
What's up? Hi.
just got up to get ready to go to work here shortly.
You going to work?
Yeah,
Where? Oh, at that place. Okay.
yeah.
What time?
I had to be there at 11:15
Till what time? 6, 7?
till about 7:45.
Oh, so you got time to talk to me? Is it
A
far from
little
your
bit.
house?
No, about 15 minutes. But
Oh, okay.
if I can punch in as soon as I get there, starting at 11 on out,
Okay. Yeah.
and it all goes right to the paycheck.
Okay. Yeah. I was live twice tonight,
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
You didn't get your notification?
If I did, I was sleeping.
That's okay. Yeah. Yeah, but I do gotta talk to you. I have to talk to you later, but not on here.
Okay.
All right. Because
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Hey.
Hi, was you trying to be Halloweeny when you said, Braxton? It almost sounded like it. I was like, okay.
Yeah, right.
She getting in the mood.
Well, let's put it this way. If I don't have to work tomorrow, we are going out.
Yep. Oh, about that thing, me going to Virginia. I gotta talk to you about that. I don't want to talk about on here too much, but I'll let you know.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't want to say yes or no on that yet, but
Yeah.
I don't want to say too much. Well, not that I don't want to talk about it. I just don't want to.
You don't want it out.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yep.
That's understandable.
Yep.
I haven't even told the old lady about it.
I'm not 100% sure yet.
Right. Like I said, I haven't even told the old lady about it yet.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 1 second, okay? I'm going to just mute real quick and explain what's going on to her.
And then August 25th, she posts what was her last photo on social media. Gabby's final post had people really scratching their heads. It's a photo of her holding this little pumpkin in the middle of the summer. What was that all about? Se aceleraron
Okay, I'm back.
Hey,
So what's your plans for Halloween? What?
I haven't.
You got a hot date for doubles night?
Nah, I don't know.
You gonna dress up and scare the little kids?
Yeah, right.
Or you gonna buy all the Reese's and hide in your house and eat them all?
I'm gonna buy that. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Yeah. Thanks for sharing, Tiffany, Divine Tiffany. Just got
Hey,
your message.
Tiff.
Hey, Tiff.
Yeah, she just shared me out, so that's why I say hi to her.
Oh, I don't even see the chat. For some reason, chat's not working out for me.
Yeah, hopefully it don't rain. And we're gonna be hitting up to cemetery.
Yeah. And we're going to place candy at the graves.
Because I promised them when we went there.
We're going to bring them candy.
Beginning of the month or something? Oh, October. At the beginning. I don't know, then September. I promised them that I'd bring them treats.
Okay.
So I'm going to get a bag of that 500 count candy.
Yeah.
That kitty mix that you can get from Wally World for about $10.
Mm-hmm.
And throw it out so it can land on the graves. Hopefully.
Well, either the spirits will be happy or the wildlife will be happy.
But yeah.
Well, if you see a bird chewing bubble gum, you'll know.
Hi, Zach.
Hello. Hey, I got Zach's messages
What?
in chat.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we actually got plans to go out for doubles night like I usually do.
Yep.
But they might be compromised because of work
Oh,
and the
okay.
rain. I don't know if we got to work Saturday or not.
Oh, okay.
But yes, my first 2 days went great.
I'm so happy for you. It's awesome.
Or actually, almost my first whole week. This is the last day of the week for work. But yeah, everything went good so far.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, it just says, hey, hey.
Hey, hey.
Yeah, I had to read your message. After I was sitting up here for a little bit. So, how's Wes doing?
I'm okay. Hi, Divine Tiffany. I sent you a thingy, the stringer. What do they call it, stringer? If you want to come up.
Hello, Tiff.
Hi, Tiff.
Hey, hey.
Hi, Tiff. I like that, Wes. I sent you a thingy.
But yeah. So far, work's going good. The fiberglass is getting to me, but guess what? $15 an hour. I'll deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I can earn up to have paid days off, not even counting my vacation time when I'm able to get it. Paid holidays.
Right.
Quarterly bonuses.
That's awesome.
It was 5 days after that police stop in Moa.
Hey, Abraxas.
Hey, Wes.
Hey, I was gonna do an interview with you maybe sometime this next week. Can you do one with me? Interview?
Yeah, it's just gonna have to be on the weekends.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, maybe this weekend. Do you have time?
What about Sunday?
Sunday.
Okay, Sunday, maybe Sunday afternoon, Sunday night.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you know. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I'll let you know by Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah. So just the weekends, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And yes, I am still working at Domino's.
Oh, you're working both jobs?
Yeah, just Domino's on Saturday. from
What, only
like
one day?
4 to 11.
For
Yeah.
one day a week, or?
Yeah,
Well, they are in desperate need of help.
that's if she remembers to put me on the fucking schedule.
But not this Saturday. They already have planned.
Yeah.
And she knew I had plans before that.
Once they're back together, there's a post from Gabby.
We were going to go down to down around Cameron at Aberdeen, North Carolina,
Oh, okay.
but that kind of fell through.
Yeah. We did
Oh,
have-
I'm sorry to hear that.
We didn't really have the money or anything, so where we're going, I can get down there on a tank of gas, get down there and back on a tank of gas.
So in Gabby's latest Instagram post,
Right.
her roots are not there, especially in comparison to some of them before that.
It seemed as if she had taken that at some
But-
point and was planning to use
Hey
it.
guys, yeah. I'm all over the place tonight. I was out I just came home from the bar.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
In late August,
Did you drink any for me?
another
Yeah, I'm good though.
Not yet. She did. Talking to the chat, keeping them in progress,
Mhm.
keeping them in check. Especially with Tiffany being down there, she needs to be kept in check.
Tiffany, you want to come out? Come on up.
She seemed really upset. She was emotional. She was crying.
So,
I went to the hospital the other day, Les. You know about
Huh?
that.
What
I
happened?
went to a hospital. I
Yeah.
have a freaking umbilical hernia. I've never heard of it.
Oh, hey, Sheriff.
hello, Sheriff.
Hi, Sheriff.
Yeah, she has a umbilical umbilical hernia.
I've
I'm
never
sorry
heard
to
of
hear
it.
that.
Somebody else has it too. What are you doing?
That's something you need surgery on or something. Because I don't know anything about it.
She was wondering if you had to have surgery with that, Wes.
I'm thinking, depends how bad it is.
Did you hear that?
Please don't let it be bad.
Yeah, if it's bad, I would have had to film alone.
My brother told me if I have to have surgery, I'm going to be laid up for a while. I'm like, oh, fuck that. I don't want to be laid up.
I guess being laid up is better than being laid out.
Or getting I don't even want to say that. I'm gonna be quiet about that.
Say it, say it, say it, say it, say it.
I know what
Nah,
you're saying.
Say it.
No, not saying
Yeah.
that.
Laid off. There you go. Laid off.
No, I'm good.
No,
I'm
laid
good.
off. Like the job, you know, like laid off, like you can't work anymore.
No.
Sheriff says it's around your belly button. Oh, fuck.
What?
Oh,
What'd you do?
yeah. Yay.
What'd you do?
I swiped up and just took you out. But at least I could hear you.
Who?
So I can bring you back.
Huh?
I think
My phone is one of these. If you swipe, you can just get rid of whatever's on your phone at the time.
Okay.
It's a swiping phone. It swipes you away. It
Oh.
swipes you off your feet.
Okay.
Hey, I got your notification, Wes.
You did?
Yeah, Friday Live Part 3. Happy Halloween. But yeah. Oh. But yeah, I'm able to make 600 plus in a week.
Okay.
Way they have it set up, I can make if I punch in at 11:15 every day,
Mm-hmm.
11:15,
That sounds cool.
I can work I can get paid for 8.5 hours a day. We get paid breaks and lunch. The only time we have to punch out on the clock is when we leave to go somewhere for lunch. So all that time we're there and we
Right.
get paid for it all.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Yankee Kyle 27. Hi, Yankee Kyle. Yankee Kyle.
Hello, Yankee.
Yep.
But yeah, everything's going great.
Yep.
So how long are you going to be on board today?
Well, I was on for about a half hour earlier. Then on my way home, I was on for about half hour. So probably like an hour. That's all. Yes.
So until 1:30 when I go on break.
No, I gotta work tomorrow. Nah.
You got to work tomorrow?
Yep.
On Saturday?
Yep.
That sucks.
Yeah. And Sunday too.
So you work 7 days a week?
Just not all the time. I work like every other Sunday.
Tell them to suck the big one.
Yeah, wish I could. Trust me, but I can't. Do
Come
that.
down here and get a job with me.
I should, right? I know.
They're still hiring for all 3 shifts.
But you know what? Let's just say my cousin's family's not far from you. I'll put it that way. But she's on the other side too. Like not every
Yeah.
day. Okay. I already told you the situation, but she wants
Yeah.
to come up and stay. She was asking me to.
Yeah, come get a job working with me.
I wish I could. I wish I could.
They're hiring, like I said, they're hiring on all 3 shifts.
Right.
Their shift gets paid the most.
First is what? 13.50?
No, first is 13, then it goes second for 14.50,
15?
and then us for 15. So we get paid $2 more an hour than first shift.
Oh wow.
But they're actually thinking about paying first shift $14 and not give anyone else a raise though
Oh, okay.
for right now.
But you got to do a little bit at a time.
And their change machine gives out dollar bills.
$12.
I actually had a couple silver. But yes,
Yeah.
and then you get nifty little side shields for your glasses.
Oh, okay.
Not to mention the $100 off the shoes and
Yeah. And then when you go get prescription glasses,
Mm-hmm.
they'll reimburse you up to $100.
Right.
And then when you go get shoes, they'll reimburse you up to $100 on shoes.
That sounds cool.
And then they have a Red Wings dealer that comes directly to the warehouse or to the factory, so you can get new Red Wing shoes as well.
oh, Chris, color about your lunchbox shirt.
Yeah, I got 2 shirts and a cooler just for getting hired in.
Oh, really? That is so
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. I got one person watching. That's okay. Whatever.
It's not about them, it's about you.
Yeah.
All right, now it's about you. You're talking about that.
That's okay. Yeah.
Well, somebody has to talk. She's just watching the screen.
I can see you.
Somebody has to keep them bored.
Yeah.
Are you sure you only got one person watching?
I got two now.
Yay.
Yeah, pay 2 for 6 person. That's okay.
Hello, the new number 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my day in life.
Yeah.
Go to bed, wake up, then go back to bed, then wake back up and go to work.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I blame Missy. But the best part about it was
Thanks,
me
Denise.
taking. I don't see them.
No, she shared me out.
Oh, yeah. With that, it means I can go get up, start an investigation at 10 o'clock, and stay up all the way to about 8
Oh,
or
jeez.
9.
Mm. That's a lot.
Yeah, the only thing that's going to stop us from today is either A, the weather, or B, I would have to work Saturday.
Oh
yeah, plus I burnt my head a few times.
Oh my gosh.
I bumped the top of the press, melted my head. I hit a hose and melt my head or my neck. Shit gets hot. But right now I'm on the side of the press where I got 2 fans blowing on me.
No, here, Vera.
Give me 1 second. I gotta go blow my nose.
Okay. Hey, guess what I got here? Hey.
What?
Guess who's here? Pena. Pena's perspective. Yo.
Hello.
Hi, Elena.
Hey.
I got your link late. Sorry. I was watching Jacob Israel and I was turning on my studio lights.
Oh,
So-
okay. Here how you doing?
Good. Not so good. Today was a rough day, but anyway, that's
Okay.
another
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
It's
I
not
was
a
live-
story.
I was
You
like
were
twice.
there. You were there yesterday. Today's Friday. Yeah, today's Friday. So you were there yesterday. So yeah, you know more or less. I wasn't in a good state today,
Yeah.
but that's another story. How you doing?
I'm fine.
How's Connecticut?
Everything's good. Yeah, I was live twice today, and then I figured I'd do one more before I went to bed. I'm not gonna be on that long. Probably like about
I always catch you at the end. You've been on for 24 minutes, and I know that.
Yeah.
Not,
no.
not-
Probably, I'm gonna be on no because I just went live. Let me see, 9:45 my time, so I'll probably live till about 10, like
it's
10,
saying,
15,
it's saying here
10, 20.
24 minutes on your StreamYard. That's
Yeah,
all
so I'll be on for another like maybe 10, 15 more minutes, 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. Don't even.
normal. I always catch you at the end.
What?
Because I'll be
That's
on for 10 to 15 minutes, so like that, right?
She always says that's a Braxis Paranormal. That's his wife.
Oh, okay. That channel that you like to watch on what was it Wednesday?
Through the Veil Paranormal. Yeah, see,
Yeah, see,
That's Abraxas, that's a
the
different one.
subtitle of that really kind of got to me. That was
that's Abraxas. Abraxas Pena. Pena. That's Abraxas and Lee.
where,
Hello.
where the dead speak. That seems like a really bizarre subtitle of a
Yeah.
channel.
And this is Abraxas has been with me for a long time. That's Abraxas Pena. That's Abraxas.
Hi, how you doing?
And his wife is in the
I'm,
background.
Oh, okay. I
I'm
think.
on West Haven's channel, so I will behave.
Why?
Yeah.
I don't.
You
Well, you
know
will
her
now,
longer than I
Chris.
do. I'm not free to be me yet.
Yeah.
Although I'm like people say, I'm relatively authentic. I say what I feel, and
Yep.
yeah, I'm me
Yours
most
is for
of the time.
birds, so we're trying.
Don't we all?
No, not all. Many people actually wear masks, serious masks, and they show society what they believe society wants to see. And behind, you know, like Killer said, you have your public persona and your private persona.
Yes.
And so you say things that you think the public will want to do. That's also Nietzsche also explained that. Yeah, I really enjoyed psychology, so I think I'm going to be getting back into that so that I can actually have fundamentals for these things that I'm actually talking about. I have fundamentals, but they're not certified, so nobody believes my shit. And that was kind of proven yesterday. Leonardo da Vinci didn't have any fucking degrees, and yet he was one of the greatest architects and engineers and anatomists and artists and drawers and sculptors. This guy didn't have any certificates, and yet he delved into those areas and he made them his life's purpose for whatever nefarious reasons he might have had. There are lots of different theories about where he got his inspiration from and everything else. But yes, the very first plane was made by Leonardo da Vinci, and it was made on the design of a bird's wing, which we just advanced and tried to perfect. That's all we did. Leonardo da Vinci was a badass, and he didn't have a degree. In fact, he founded universities. Now, as an autodidact, as some would say, I find life somewhat difficult. Why? Because I have learned enough to have like 5 college degrees, but I have but 2 in the same area, international business. 3, I've got postgraduate in finance, and I was working on master's in economics.
Wow.
However, that's nothing compared to what I want to do with psychology. I really would love to have another one in engineering. I built my house. My dad's a civil engineer, and so I'd love to have the abilities and skills that my dad has. He's helping me design the sustainable living establishment that I'm making on lot number 3. So that will be housing for
That sounds cool.
2 small families and a larger family, maybe. Plus, it'll have fish and green yard and garage, so that they can be sustainable. It will have its own water and electricity and
That's cool.
sort of thing.
Okay.
So it's
cool.
an entirely closed-in design to where it's self-sustainable. It's something that you can actually expand. Once I get this going, then we can expand that onto anywhere else where you want, because suburbia won't be a problem if the houses don't have to have all those extensive electric lines and everything else if they're sustainable, or at least they are able to reduce that, and they're able to generate food for themselves or for the community or whatever. And so that's some of the objectives that I've always had. Like Junior, the friend that's always here with me, was on Thursday, and I was muted having conversations with him. Well, Mike answered Zachary Kim's questions. But the thing is, the objective is always been. I'm an environmentalist. Like I said, I'm woke before woke was woke, and I realize that woke is wrong, because the only thing is we can't force others to do what we think is right.
Abraxas doesn't tell you. We can't force anybody, right, Abraxas? We can't force people.
Exactly.
We do what is right, and we try to be an example for others. Period. The end. If somebody else wants to cut down their trees and do whatever the fuck they want to do, that's on them. But me, I'm going to go to sleep with a clean conscience. And I mean sleep in a the Sheol that Michael was talking about yesterday, I will go with a clean conscience because my objective is always trying to be sustainable, trying to be something to where we're not a detriment to this world. Our existence is actually beneficial to existence.
Right.
And that's usually been my objective. It's
Well,
not.
Braxton's got a lot of things going on too. He does paranormal. He goes on explorations and stuff.
Yeah.
Let's tell me more about you. I know about West Haven. We've known about 2.5 months, something like that. That you've been following Jacob's channel and you've been seeing my Thursday podcast.
Yeah. Braxton, you met Jacob. You know Jacob Water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. So, Braxton, tell me about your stuff. What you doing? What you into? And I only see Roof. I don't see you. And to me, that's kind of bizarre.
Usually, I'm one of these people. If somebody tells me not to go to a certain area, I'm jumping head first.
I don't go head first. I go feet first because I already learned after I dislocated my foot. I'll go feet first. People say don't go there. I'm like, why not? I understand you. So where have you
I'm the first one to do it. One place I've been at, I ended up tying myself to a chair and blindfolded myself.
Yeah.
Which I was asked not to do.
Tying yourself to a chair and blindfolded, why would you do that? What ultimate purpose did that serve?
It's basically like a mockery, especially where we were at, where people in old folks' homes were abused.
Okay. So it was a protest. That I kind of understand.
It was more and less to try to get things riled up, especially with the spirits.
A protest, yeah, definitely with the spirits. Okay, what are you talking about with spirits? Who are you trying to get riled up there? And who are you talking to?
Whoever decides to come to the spirit box. Where we were at an old abandoned old folks home.
Okay, so you were talking to old dead folks that had died near there and they wanted their spirits avenged. Is that it?
They want whatever normal people wanted at that time. They wanted to be treated right. They basically want somebody to stand up for them. Just because they're dead doesn't mean they don't have a reason.
Okay, so hold on, West Haven. Now this brings us up into the conversation that was yesterday's broadcast with Jacob,
right?
Where Michael McIntosh was saying that Sheol or hell didn't exist. Sheol was just a grave into where we go to sleep, and that's it. The TV box turns off, and there's nothing more. However, Abraxas's statements and testimony say specifically against that. The dead are awake in a sense. They can communicate in a sense. Their essence is there. Their communication, their soul is there, and it longs to be heard the same way that it did when it was mortal and it had a body. It no longer has a body, but it's trapped in another dimension, but it still wants to be respected and heard. That is what some would say in the Bible, those innocent souls pleading for justice. And that is something that I can get behind and I can understand. Generally, talking to the dead is frowned upon. Sorry, Abraxas, I just have to put a little parentheses on whenever. Sorry, I'm going to have a certain perspective on the things that I talk about.
That's fine.
So talking to the dead is generally frowned upon. However, I understand it's not that it's not possible. The problem is the influences they may have on you posterior. You don't know what their motives are and that sort of thing. So it gets into this ultra dimensional manipulation game that we got to be very careful of because the adversary is extremely intelligent and that sort of thing. But these souls are longing to be breathed free. They are longing to be classified, respected, identified, and known to exist. Because that is the raison d'être, the reason of being for most of us on this planet. We want to be recognized. We want to be respected. We want to be identified as sovereign individuals, something which is difficult. And even the dead are pleading for that, apparently. Sorry, I have a tendency to monologue, Abraxas. Continue, please.
But yes, I basically go to places and hopefully some of them are abandoned, but a lot of them aren't. We do get permission to go through them. The last one that we did was the Graham House in West Virginia.
Okay.
And one of our investigators that was with us ended up getting pushed. So yes, they can use force
Absolutely.
to get somebody's attention. She was not.
Have you watched Did you watch the movie Ghost with what was that? It was it Demi Moore when she was really young?
Debbie Moore, Patrick Swayze, Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah, there you go. That movie right there. So that kind of gives you an idea. They have to concentrate their force in order to make movement happen, but it is possible because they don't have the physical body, but they have the energy behind them, the consciousness. So they have to concentrate that energy to create a physical force. It is physically possible, and that's what I try and explain in my channel. Why? Because I try and bring the scientific understanding of the paranormal activities that we know that are real. Because people have been identifying these things for centuries, for decades. We know these things are real. Do we want to understand them more deeply?
Hi, Brooklyn.
But people have a tendency of not looking into those things because they're comfortable with the reality and where they're at. Sheriff Buford in Cletus. I love that name. General Lee. We're just going to leave it at that and go on. Abraxas, continue. I'm sorry. I have a tendency of doing that. I apologize.
We do have a wide range of equipment. I have a laser grid that detects movement. It detects hot and cold spots. I do have a
Ghostbusters equipment.
What's that?
You've got like Ghostbusters equipment.
No, not really. That's all part movie props for Ghostbusters.
I understand that. They try and visualize what they know others are actually doing. You think these people aren't inspired by somebody? Those things,
right?
You're on the beginning stages of that. Now, whenever you want to see the spirits, what you need to understand is you need to find the photon radiation. Why? Because they are there, but they're not in a physical realm. You need to be able to contact them in a way that's not necessarily physical. They call them ectoplasm in the fucking movie. Yeah, it's a name made up by the fucking movie. That's okay. However, the idea, that essence of what spirit is and what its interaction with the material world is, that is something you can most likely measure and try and follow. Whenever you have this trace to where there's a change in the electromagnetic makeup of a normal object, you get these normal readings, and all of a sudden you get this reading to where this piece of wood has the resonance of a piece of metal, for example. It became denser for some reason. Then you know there's something bizarre going on, because what your eyes see, what you're reading, a piece of wood, and what your instrument is telling you, a piece of metal, don't mesh. And so you know that there's a mystery there that you need to resolve. Exactly. It's creating that difference, and that we need to go after. And so you can find equipment or create equipment that will measure that kind of thing. You'll be able to find the ones that you want to communicate with more easily, most likely. I'm just theoretical in the majority of my shit. Theoretical physicist. Thank you very much.
Then I also have a little box that's hooked up with, it's a motor on 2 earth magnets.
Okay. And what's the objective of that one?
It puts out EMF.
Okay, good.
Which they can use to help them manifest. Put energy into the air.
Oh,
they can grab that energy and potentially manifest
their energy to actually. Okay, you're compounding. You're what do they call avant-gauging? Leveraging. You're leveraging the energy. You're giving them a portal that they can touch into and be able to transmit their energy to complement for them to not make as much of an effort. Fucking awesome. I love that. That's great idea. I hadn't thought about that. And if it actually that's working, it makes a lot of sense. And congratulations. Kudos to you. So that does help them bridge over?
Yes.
Excellent.
I've had great luck with it.
And what kind of conversations have you had with them besides them wanting, because after all, they're stuck in the time when they were dead. They don't know what's going on now. They no longer exist. They no longer participate or have memory or consciousness of the time that we're in now, because they're stuck in the time dimension in which they died. They no longer progressed. They're stuck there. And so their desires and wishes and everything else are going to be based on the timeline in which their life was, because that is the dimensional reality in which they existed.
More or less, how they acted then is how they act now.
Well, they haven't changed. Humanity is the same, and many philosophers will tell you.
Yeah,
the same psychological and behavioral problems that we had 3,000 years ago, we still have today.
It's like they're in limbo, like they're there. But
that's exactly what many call it. It's limbo.
You can call it another dimension, limbo, but
Sheol. It's what's called
paranormal world. They call it purgatory.
Purgatory, because what happens is that they are technically asleep until the end day when the judgment comes, and we are defined whether or not we go to one place or another. In the meantime, they are asleep and they are wandering, but they are stuck in their own time loop because they don't have this direction. Okay, so it's what the Catholics would call purgatory, but you can't necessarily buy those people's. No, they actually have the problem is that their soul can only evolve while they're alive. So things that they're actually asking you to do isn't necessarily going to help them, but it might actually help you. There might be a reason. It might. I don't know. I don't know everything. I'm still trying to figure this shit out. That's why I'm writing my book. Okay.
Right.
Conversation with yours, because this, from a scientific aspect, science isn't something that defines reality. Science is something that looks at reality and tries to explain how it happened. And so I'm not going to say, oh, ghosts don't exist and that's all bullshit and you're just lying. No, you're doing it. It's a reality. So let's explain how that reality happens, how it functions, how it interacts with us, and how that correlates with our larger understanding of existence itself. Kind of, sort of. You get me?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So for that, a scientific experiment would require more data. And for that, please tell me more, Abraxas.
Not only that, we do run a K2, which basically, if you hold it up to a power source, it will light up lights on it.
Okay, what's a K2?
It reads like the electric magnetic field in the air.
Okay, good. All right.
Or any other type of electric force.
Well, it's all the same energy, actually. So you're getting energy from a certain, and if you get to a source that has a larger energy than it's supposed to have, that's also a signal that something's out of whack and you need to explain it. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. I understand.
It's also real fun to have it go off in an area that has no power whatsoever to it.
Right.
Now that is funky. That would be the Ghostbusters, the thing going.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the movie is reality from a certain perspective. In other words,
exactly.
Told them about that crap, and then they decided to make a movie, fake as it is, to try and recreate that which was told to them by somebody else who was actually fucking doing it. Why? Because this stuff has been around for a long time. Very interesting. Braxis, tell me some more, please.
I would love to right now, but unfortunately, I have to get ready to go to work.
No, you don't. You ain't going nowhere.
I worked the graveyard shift at a factory.
Yeah.
Graveyard shift. That's my favorite. You get time and a half, maybe. It's almost like overtime.
Only anything over 40 hours. It's overtime.
Yeah, I understand, but the night shift, the grave, especially the graveyard, gets a bigger bonus than the normal shift.
Right.
We just get a higher pay raise or
Yeah,
pay.
that's what I'm saying. What's
Yeah.
it, 20, 30% more than the others?
We're $2 over first shift and 50 cents over second shift.
Wow, that little over second shift? So
Yeah.
so people really prefer first shift, huh? Wow. But yeah, 50 cents makes a difference at the end of the month. So congratulations. Graveyard shift. You know where that saying came from, right? Before you go to work, I'd like for you to know. You know where the term graveyard shift came from?
No, not really.
Well, because there was a thing to where people like to drink alcohol and ale, and they have for a very long time. But there was a time when they were making the cups out of tin. And so there's a particular thing to where alcohol reacts with metal, and it can have an adverse effect on your body. And there were times when people would come out and they would be comatose for 2 or 3 days. People would assume that they were dead and they would end up burying them. Why? Because people died all the fucking time back then. So between somebody comatose and somebody dead, to them it's the same fucking thing. So they buried people. But after a while, they started to, dig up coffins and everything else. They wanted to analyze bone structures or whatever. And whenever they open up these coffins, they noticed that some of them had scratch marks on the inside. So they realized that they were burying people alive.
Wow.
And so then there was a practice. This is why we have a wake for 72 hours, because it's literally to wait for somebody to awaken from their alcohol poisoning. So after 3 days, if they really are dead, they start stinking. Then you put them in the ground. But back in the day, what they did is they tied a little string around your toe or your finger, and they would, when they buried you, they would leave that string loose and tie it to a bell. And so you had to have somebody that was watching the graves at night, and if they heard a bell ring, they would have to dig them up because that motherfucker was still alive.
That's
and
what I call graveyard shift.
Comes the graveyard shift.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the first movie I seen that in was The Nun.
Yep.
The Nun. Terror movie. Okay, yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Good things. Good things.
Okay, guys. I'm going to get off here so I can get ready for work. Thank you, Wes.
I'll talk to you over the weekend, okay, Chris?
Okay, not a problem.
That was a pleasure, Abraxas. Thank you for the
Abraxas.
info.
Guys,
That
make sure you
really
follow
helps,
Abraxas Paranormal.
my research.
Paranormal. Make sure you
You're
follow
welcome.
Bell.
Appreciate it. You see my name here, so follow my channel. If I'll add to it. And if people ask me questions, and the thing that I try and do is explain spiritual and bizarre phenomenon from a scientific perspective. So if you give me some questions and that sort of shit, I'll be able to make a new video for you. So yeah, follow me, leave a comment, and give me some suggestions, and I'll create some content. Definitely. Pleasure to meet you, Abraxas. Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you guys.
Bye, Abraxas. Much love. Bye,
Later.
lady.
Peace out.
Just us. What's up?
Thank you, West Haven. This was fun. It lightened my day because I was in a bad place for the majority of the day, and then I had a sit down with God, and He gave me a little lecturing too. And so,
yep,
He puts me back into my base and remembering what it is that I'm supposed to do and the things that I'm supposed to endure.
Right.
So yeah. However, I asked for reinforcement, and then I saw your link, and so I appreciate it.
No problem.
No worries.
I'm glad you came up for a little bit. Like I said, I wasn't planning on going back live. I was just like, oh, well,
Well, it's like Jake does. He goes live and he just sends me a link. Hey, are you interested? Jump on. Let's have a conversation.
Right.
He'll be on with 1 or 2 other people and that sort of thing. Maybe he's on with Tiffany, or maybe he's on with Rocco or something else, and I'll just hop on. That's the way I roll. So if you're ever interested, just send me the link, and I'll be more than happy to.
No, yep. Oh, and I think my interview went. The interview went well. I think. I
shared it on my Facebook. I don't know who's actually seen it, but
yeah, but I had some pretty good views on it though.
Oh, cool. So
Yeah.
congratulations. If you'd like a second part, like I said, Monday is All Saints Day, and that'd be fun. However, you let me know, it's your channel, and we go with your flow. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I put you on my playlist too, because I got a new playlist with my interviews.
Okay.
And yeah, I
Ooh,
was just
you're chic. You got your schedule and everything else. Wow.
yeah,
I'm talking to a big YouTuber. I got to up my game.
I'm not a big YouTuber, trust me. I'm not. I'm just a regular.
I got 32 people, so your 1,500 to me is a big ass YouTuber.
Yeah.
All
You know
right?
how many
So
people
I
saw
have
the
some-
interview? 90 over 100 views, just about.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
cool. That blows me away.
I didn't
Jake
expect
got
that.
108 on his channel, and so that's going up. It was 42, and then 58, and then 63, and then just kept going up, and that's what work does, right? You keep putting into it, and it keeps
Yeah.
feeding back. That's the way it works. I'm glad that was able to generate 100 views for you, and if
Yeah,
I can help you out at any point, I'm here
Yeah,
for you.
because like I said, I just started doing the interviewing thing, so it's like hopefully, I can't do it every single week. I can't do it all the time. I can only do what I can.
Hey, I've got 5 months since I did my last video, so any new video and that sort of thing, congratulations. It's always good. It's I understand it's work, it's commitment, and it's this sort of focus that you have to have, and so it's not always possible, and I understand that completely. So I always enjoy having a live because it's I miss the old days in television to where you had to be in order to see that certain thing. It's Tuesday at 7 o'clock in the evening. Oh, this one's at 7:30 on a Wednesday evening, and it's on CBS. Oh, I got to watch that one. Oh shit, no, my NBC's. I got to be home on Wednesday by 8:30 because that's where my show starts. It was a lot of stress to actually be able to watch things. And so nowadays, to where people can go onto a channel and watch things that were made a month ago or 2 years ago and binge watch the whole damn thing, it's a whole new reality.
Yeah.
So being able to establish these things, and I see that on the Foxhole, they try and establish like a schedule. Each person's got their own little live hours.
Right.
And why was that funny?
You just said Foxhole?
Yeah, that's a channel. Foxhole.app.
Foxhole? I think you were talking about the Fox channel making a light of what's
No. Actually, that is a channel. It was set up by Methods. I don't know if you're acquainted with Red Pill and Methods, back from the beginnings of the pandemic. They had this show that they did together. Red Pill is where I found Aaron Moriarty, and on Aaron Moriarty's show is where I found Jacob, and so it's this whole string of things that goes.
Oh,
along.
Red Pill. Oh, Red Pill.
Yeah, Red Pill 78.
Where's that? That's a channel?
Yeah, that's a YouTube. It was a YouTube channel. It got taken down in October of 2020 because he's very far right leaning. And that's why I went over to Rumble, which, my channel started off on Rumble.
What is it called? Rumble?
Rumble. Rumble.
Rumble.
Rumble. It's like the fight. Ready to rumble.
Oh, is that like a channel?
Yes, like YouTube. But it's for the people who were banned from YouTube. They went over there. Actually, it's Dan Bongino set up Rumble as another option for people that were kicked off of YouTube. There are other options like Minds. I'm also on there, and BitChute. I've got a couple of videos on there. And there are others that start up and everything else, but Rumble's been working relatively well. However, it didn't have the viewership. I mean, I had way fewer views than I saw Jake on YouTube, and I was trying to avoid it because I didn't like the censors and the lack of freedom and the have to talking code and everything else that is YouTube. But the amount of viewers that he got was far larger than what it was on Rumble. And Junior, who's usually here with me, he never even knew what Rumble was.
Okay.
And so, yeah, viewership is lower. That's why I decided to transfer over to YouTube. So all the content that I had on Rumble, I transferred to also on YouTube, and that's the Pena perspective that you see. I added to that, and I try and add the videos that I actually tape onto Rumble because the lives are actually YouTube property, and I would actually have to have a paid account on YouTube in order to download my own videos.
Oh wow.
Since I don't like to pay anybody because I'm a cheap bastard. Uh, one, two, I don't like my credit card online because
Oh right.
hackers and everything else. You just can't trust anybody. I mean, I worked with digital security for a while, and so I learned the ins and outs and the dangers of really being exposed. And we are exposed all the time, and so that's why I'm kind of paranoid in the things that I do, or more technically, don't do. Because I don't do that banking online. I don't have my bank account on my cell phone. I don't, buy things, on Amazon or on whatever online, or Alibaba or whatever online, and have them delivered to my home. All those benefits I don't do because I don't trust the hackers. Because if it's online, if it's on your computer, somebody is going to get it eventually. Because hackers eventually get everything. So the more you're exposed, the more areas they have where if they hack into one area or another, they have your information. So the best is not to have your information out there. But that's just my own schizophrenic paranoia. Give me a minute.
Okay. Anyway, guys, hope everybody's enjoying their night. Happy Halloween weekend. I got Penis Perspective with me for a little bit. I just had a Braxis Paranormal up here, so make sure you follow them both.
So you like the paranormal? I could adjust to that. Would you like to talk about Greek mythology?
Greek mythology. Oh wow.
Because after yesterday's conversation, I'm thinking about Hades and Sheol and all that kind of stuff. And with the Abraxas, I was thinking about the ghosts and the reality they're in.
Well,
and
I'm into. Well, here's the thing. I've been
You're up to an hour on your live, so I
That's
understand your time.
That's okay. I'm trying to figure out something. No, I was saying that there's Saint Augustine. You've heard of him, right?
Yeah.
The saint. Okay. I went to school in Bridgeport, Connecticut, called Saint Augustine's Cathedral.
Yeah.
And right not far from there, Saint Augustine. There's a cemetery not far from there.
Okay.
And I would I was going to Catholic school all my life, right? But now that the Catholic education is like kind of dwindling down a little bit,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people like enrollment. I'm just saying is down so drastically. Like
people aren't Christians anymore.
Yeah.
They're agnostics. They're atheists. They don't believe in anything. They become Buddhists or whatever. They adopt things of this world.
Right.
They no longer think about those deeper realities because they don't believe in it. To be honest with you, they're completely materialistic. The only thing that exists are the things that I can feel, that I can touch, that I can hear or smell. This reality that my brain is telling me is real is the only reality that exists, and fuck anything else because it's not important.
But see, my school that I went to, we used to have like for K through 8th grade, right?
Yeah.
And the funny thing about it now is I went there a few years ago and somebody was telling me that for they're only using the classrooms. They don't you know how it's usually they go from one classroom to another.
Yeah.
They're not even doing that anymore. That's how bad the enrollment is down.
Wow, they've got homeroom.
Yeah, and then I think some of the churches they had to file for bankruptcy.
Holy cow.
Diocese, around. I know in Connecticut a few churches are. I'm not sure exactly what. I don't know what county it was. I think it was Fairfield County. I think it was Hereford or Litchfield, one of those counties. I got to look at more, but for what I understand, they had to close some of the churches down because attendance has been low ever since this thing went on. I don't want to say because I don't get my.
The CV thing is what's making them okay.
I think it's part of it too. And in the last few years, it's just I'm just thinking more people are going more. I don't want to get to too much religion. I'm just saying real quick that everyone's going to the
Now,
non-denominational.
one question:
church.
why don't you like to go down those particular topics? Just curiosity.
Well, like you were saying too, we got to be careful what we say now. It's because YouTube controls like, we have to go by their guidelines, and it's like I know some people that talk about that word, they get taken down because ever since that,
Word?
that.
No, that one. I'm sorry. That code I'm not familiar with.
Oh, the thing that's going around that we can't talk about.
Oh, the CV thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's like when I first came to this platform, it was never ever issues. Nobody would like give you a strike and talk about that.
No, anything that you say that goes against the system, they will strike you for.
Yeah.
Why? Because it is their last gasp for control. Because
Right.
their objective is complete and absolute control. It's Goebbels. It's 1984. These things have been written about. Mao wrote about it. Okay, when you control their minds, when you control the information,
and
you control their minds, and you can control their thoughts. That's what they want. It's the thought police.
Well, you know what I think though? I think that I remember that book 1984. I do remember that, and I remember
that changed my life.
Right, and he was talking about things that were going to happen in the future. I don't remember the whole entire book. So I remember seeing a little bit of it. I don't remember everything, but I remember he was talking about things that were going to happen years from now. And look at, you see?
Yeah, but see, the thing is that I read it in 1984. My teachers would tell me, see, it didn't happen. These people that predict the future, they can't predict the future because that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Because in our perception of reality back then, that was inconceivable. That idea of complete and absolute control over the individual was inconceivable. It was anathema to who the American culture was. Because regardless of your color or race or where you came from, you came here to be free. You didn't come here to be another one of the fucking slaves like there were everywhere else in the world. And when I point here, I say the United States, not here, the Brazil where I'm living. Where
I got you.
Actually be free. Why? Because I love the American Constitution. I love the United States.
Yeah.
I've got 3 citizenships, but the U.S. is I love that place. However, the people that are throwing it under the bus and destroying it for their own benefit really bothers and perturbs me. But that's a whole nother issue.
Yeah, we'll talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, but see, the thing is that I've been up on all this stuff since 86.
Yeah, and this is before the internet, just reincarnation, the birth of the internet is what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah, the birth of the internet I was on the internet in 95.
Yeah, I remember.
Actually, I was that's what I told you in the interview. However, my first interaction with the internet was in 1989. It was called War Games. It was a movie. I thought that was.
I remember that movie very well.
That was my senior year in high school.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, really? And then in my sophomore year in college, I had a friend of mine who was a computer science major. And one night I was going down to the computer lab to write my reports and theses or whatever the fuck homework that I had to do for that evening. Mm-hmm. And he was there on his computer playing. And I asked him, what are you doing? Oh, I'm playing a game with somebody in California. And I was in Texas. I'm like, really? Now, it was a text game. It was just words that were flowing through.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons type thing.
Oh, like some plays at Dungeons, but it's a newer version.
It was all text. It was all words and everything else. And you got to imagine the entire situation in your mind. That's what it was in 1991. But he was playing with somebody from California. And that's what I thought was fantastic. And then I get into the research about DARPA and everything else and realize, oh, yeah, University of Texas, University of California, MIT, Harvard, they're all going to be connected to the central DoD hub because they were doing the research for the military-industrial complex, and that's why DARPA was actually invented. After that, it became what we know of as today, but that was the original thing. So, yeah, the university in 1991, I was on the internet. That was fucking interesting as shit. In 95, I remember AOL. You've got mail.
Yeah.
I loved hearing you've got mail.
Yes.
It was something that just elevated us. things changed from that point. From 2007 with the smartphones, things absolutely changed.
Yes,
But
definitely.
the original idea of the internet was to give us more abilities to have communication and contact and do the things that we needed to do. Because I remember from my dad when he was traveling, no news is good news. Why? Because in order to make that phone call, at 10 o'clock, hi, honey, how you doing? Are the kids in bed? How was your day? Oh, yeah. I just wanted to call and let you know that everything was okay. I'm here at the hotel, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Okay. That 1 or 2 minute phone call would be $10. And so you tried not to make those superfluous phone calls.
Right.
Oh, he didn't call me. He doesn't love me. The fuck? It's a $10 fucking phone call. That's like lunch tomorrow. So
Right.
give me a break. No news is good news. And that was a reality that we lived in. Today, if I don't go with my cell phone, and I don't even use the cell phone itself, I'm using WhatsApp through the internet and everything else. So, they'll call me on the WhatsApp on my cell phone. Are you here yet? I mean, a mile and a half to drive and get my kid, but I need the cell phone to be able to coordinate because he's not going to stay in one place. He's going to move. And he's going to be going, hey, Dad, are you here? Well, I moved. I'm here. I walked down and I'm here in front of this other place. Okay, I'll pick you up there. So things are more flexible now. And that was one of the objectives of the internet. The problem is the reason why Facebook is getting taken down is because they begin to understand the things that I understood when I got deeply into economics as well as psychology and everything else. People can be manipulated. And with that, I mean, when you understand the programming of the brain, you understand marketing and how we've been programmed for the last 70 years to be materialistic buying motherfuckers. We're just machines to consume. That's what we're there for, because
Right.
consuming will keep the economy growing. The more you consume, the more other people are able to find jobs.
Mm-hmm. True.
That was the rationale. And so, yeah, that's a programming that you see in the 20 different advertisements that you see on television, and buy this and buy that and buy the other thing. And one of the things that I realized about being in Brazil, because it took me 10 years to get past that fucking materialistic attitude. I got to buy something in order to be happy. If I go to the mall and I can't buy anything, I'm a depressed fuck because I'm
Right.
a motherfucker.
True.
I go to the mall and I can't buy nothing. Who the fuck am I? So at least fucking lunch in the food court. You go in, you look around at all the things that you can't buy.
Oh yeah, you can't even listen. Here's the thing with the food court. Like, okay, let me tell you something. Where we live, right? We have a mall. Well, we have Trumbull Mall, Milford. We have different malls around here in Connecticut, right?
I had 5 malls within
Right. And
15 minutes of my house in Dallas. It was another era
Right.
in the 90s. We had
And
malls out the
And here's
wazoo.
the thing: they won't even let you. You can't even eat in the food court no more because a lot of the small businesses now that were actually in there, that were there, they are no longer. They're existing, but
No
they're no
longer
longer
there. They closed because they didn't have people.
Yeah,
You need to have people in order to make money.
true.
And so what these controlling motherfuckers did was centralize everything. Well, in these last 2 years, the billionaires and trillionaires have centralized their wealth more than at any other time. I mean, you look at Luke Rudendowski's videos, and he'll tell you that. I mean, I watch his videos every day. It's about 15, 17 minutes long. But it's really the news of the day. That guy's a real reporter. Tim Pool is also a reporter, and Luke and Tim are usually on the same program from time to time when Luke decides to go to West Virginia close to Tim, so that he can actually empty his sewer. He was bitching about the toilet in his mobile home, his RV actually now, because RV living might be great, but the smell. I lived on a boat for a while, and I would go to the bathroom on the port because I couldn't go in the boat, otherwise I'd be smelling it the entire night. And you can't be doing that. So I understand those realities. Here I've got 4 bathrooms. I've got one for each individual, and I did that with a plan and a purpose. Even in the full baths, I separated them into, the shower area, the wet area, and the dry area, which would be the sink. Because when I was designing this place, I was imagining that old argument of the brother and sister. Get out of the bathroom. I want to brush my hair. I'm taking a dump. Take your turn. You know, and that those whole arguments of who has the bathroom and yeah, man, but Daddy's taking too long in the shower again. And all those fights that I wanted to reduce and eliminate. So there's an area to where it's a shower and toilet, and then there's a separate area that's the sink and the areas to where they can do the makeup, the huge ass mirror, and the sink in front of it so that they can brush their teeth and fix their hair or whatever. Now I've got 2 boys, so it hasn't been a real problem.
Right.
But still, I have 4 bathrooms in the house. So when the house is full, everybody has a place where they can go. There's no lines ever. But that's the reality that I planned out. I analyzed what the needs, the future needs would be, and I set out the infrastructure for that. And that's the secret to success for just about anything. Set your goals in front of you, set out the pieces that you need, the infrastructure you need to be able to get there and build your destiny.
Right.
And that's the objective of my book. But like I told you in the interview, I'm sort of hypocritical because I'm no millionaire success story to tell you, hey, follow me. But everything I've done, I've been successful at. I'm a championship coach, football coach. I develop 3 different teams to be champions in whatever area that they were. I built this house to standards that most people come to my house and are like, holy cow, I didn't know we could actually do that, because I built them outside of what most people were accustomed and used to doing. When I wanted to play tennis, I went out and I played tennis, and I was actually nationally ranked. I wanted to play football. I made it. I trained football, and I was actually on. I was like 3rd or 4th string, so I didn't actually play in the games. But yeah, I was on the national championship Texas Longhorns football team. So whenever I set objective, I wanted to be, my dad had an objective. I had to be accepted to the best university. So I had to study my ass off and everything else. So I put that as an objective. And yes, at the end of the day, I was accepted by Harvard. I was accepted by MIT. I was accepted by University of Texas. And considering the only one that I could afford was University of Texas, that's where I fucking went, unfortunately. However, my goal was to achieve, and I reached that. And I would have been able to have the fruits of my efforts had I continued down that path. I chose another one, and here we are. 30 years later, down in the south of Brazil. I did not plan this. I had no idea that was coming, and life sends you curveballs, and you have to deal with it as best that you can. But still, the reality to success in life continues to be set out your goals, put it there, find out what the steps are that you need to get there, and work your way towards it. Now, the focus of my book is to explain that from a quantum level,
Right.
From a quantum level, from a spiritual level, and everything else. But it's explaining exactly that. You put out your focus and you put out your objectives, and you work towards that, you'll reach it. And so whenever you ask me Wednesday what my 5-year plan was, it's that book.
Right.
It's to realize it. It's to prove it for myself, to be able to prove it for others, and actually put it down in text. But the objective wasn't necessarily the book. That was just a piece. That was a beginning piece. What I eventually want to do is be able to do lectures and lecture series and that sort of stuff, and be able to affect larger amounts of people. Because after all, I've got all the things that I ever wanted really to have. The only thing that I don't have is my BMW. But I've got a family, I've got a house, and to be honest with you, I've got to be thankful to God for absolutely everything that I have. So yeah, now what is it? There's nothing left for me. I really don't want to be a millionaire and all that kind of shit. There's a lot of stress that goes along with that.
Right.
But one of the things that I wanted for me was to be able to help as many other people as possible achieve what they wanted to do. Be more of me by being less of me and helping others. That's kind of the objective long term.
Yeah. Sounds cool.
My wife had surgery today, so at midnight our time, I was supposed to wake her up to give her her medication. So she was letting me know that she already took her medication 5 minutes beforehand. So I'm like, I was going to, yeah, but it's meant she always jumps the gun. So yeah, even though I plan things out and I want her to do things, but she's always there beforehand because she's just that impatient. But that's normal. It's okay. It's part of the love affair that everybody has with the person that they wish to share their lives with. You know,
Right. I'm glad she's feeling better though.
Yeah, that's I had to take her to get her surgery today. She had to take the excess eyelid skin off. I don't know. Her eyelids were drooping too much and it was bothering her, and so she wanted to put them back the way they were when she didn't have droopy eyelids. With me, hey, fuck it. I've got gray hair and everything else. I'm
Yeah.
getting older. I won't get that damn old because I've got too many bad habits. So we'll make sure that I've got 10, 15 years in me, and that's about it. You know, I'll make it 65, 70, and I'll keel the fuck over.
Right.
That's by design because personally I didn't want to make it much further than that. But the closer I get to that point, I'm going, shit, really? That's the age that you wanted? But I'm still here and I can still do things.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
die yet. And so that's the inner me that I'm battling while I continue to smoke and drink and shorten my lifespan even more.
Yeah.
Well, whenever people ask me, I say it's my retirement. Instead of saving for retirement, I'm just making sure I die so I don't have to fucking worry about retirement.
No. Okay.
But that's
You know what they say? You know what they say about money? You can't take it with you.
Alexander the Great, when he was buried, he said, "I want to be buried. I want my coffin to be," because he was emperor, right? His coffin was going to be shown everywhere,
Right.
and he said, "I want in my coffin. I want my feet and my hands to be exposed, and I want my coffin to be carried by the best doctors in the empire." And he said the following, said, "I want the doctors to carry me so that they know that no matter how good they are, people die and they cannot defeat death. It doesn't
Right.
matter how good they are, they cannot defeat death. I want my hands to be exposed so people see that I'm not taking any of the money with me. My hands are clean. My shoes are clean. I take nothing with me." And that was Alexander the Great's last message. You know, doesn't matter how much you acquire, it ain't going to be yours later on, because when you're gone, you're gone. You can't enjoy it. Somebody else is going to take your shit. In that case, biblically speaking, it's better to have a lot of shit. Why? It's not for you.
Mhm.
But it's not good to have a lot of shit and you're single at 85.
Right.
No, in that point, it's worthless. It's useless. Now, if you're 85 years old and you have money so that you can help your great grandkid graduate from college, that is useful money. That you should save up for, because you are saving for future generations, that sustainability, that building on things. And that's why procreation is so damn important. And that's why I have such a problem with the people that have these lifestyles that are not procreative, because it's all about their own enjoyment and not the proliferation of the species, the society, the sustainability of mankind. I mean, this current society, this current generation of humanity has been around for almost 6,000 years. When we consider the Sumerians and everything else, what would be the post-Noah flood era, when civilization started to proliferate again. Pre-flood, the Mayans would have considered that as the fourth generation of humanity. So there have been various generations of human civilization on this planet, from what the Maya said. And basically this generation from the Sumerians to now, which is actually Noah to now, this generation, we have also gone through that same societal evolution that has followed all the societies before us. That's why it becomes predictable. We know what these things tend to become because we've seen it before. And the
Right.
creator who wrote the book that is my guide, the Bible, he told us it's going to tend to be to this, to where it will be centralized control, one world government, one world religion, one world ruler, and everyone will submit to them as God. That is the definition of the Antichrist, right? So it tells us that that is the natural tendency of all the different stuff that happens. Because, like I said, we are in this reality. In this particular, I'm 50 years old, so I got half a century of experience and everything else. But within that 6,000 years, 50 years doesn't mean fuck all. My 50 years will not affect reality in absolutely nothing. But if over 2 or 3 or 4 generations, we can build things up and we have a mentality, and we have a certain focus of what we want to achieve, like Hershey's, like Heinz, they have this family business that some job decided to start at one point, and his son took over, then the grandson took over, and then the great-grandson took over, and the family knows, well, I'm going to be administrator in this business, so I better know what the fuck I'm doing. So they have an objective and a focus, and generations go on. And so you build an infrastructure that allows for 15, 20, 25, 30 people. I'm just saying, maybe you have 2 or 3 kids. Each one of those has 3 or 4 kids. All of a sudden, you've got 9, 15 people right there. And if you've got great grandkids, then you're talking about maybe 25 people, because each one of those is going to have 2. So you doubled everything, right? So exponential.
Hey, Jacob.
Really incredible as well. So yeah, things happen over a period of time, and we want to make things progress. And we don't think, like I told you Wednesday about the fruit tree, we don't plant it for ourselves. We plant it for somebody else to eat the fruit that from the tree that we planted. We don't plant it for ourselves. We plant it for others.
Right.
And that's the reason of existence. And so my problem with the current generation is because, just like the Bible says, they are seekers of pleasure instead of seekers of God. They seek things that are going to benefit them in this short paradigm of existence, 50, 100 years, 75 years, whatever. It's nothing compared to the 5,000 years of this generation of society. And that is nothing compared to what the 3 million years since Lucy afarensis showed up, the very first humanoid that has like 3 different names before our Homo sapiens, Homo erectus, Homo habilis, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, and I go on my monologues, and I apologize again.
Okay.
Hello, Jacob. How you doing?
Jacob, you want to come in? I sent him the link. I don't know if he's busy, but
okay, no worries. But it's all good. So yeah, it's the progressive, and so my thing is the short-sighted view of people who think that, oh, I'm gonna live whatever lifestyle I want to live because that's my existence, my narcissism is the only one that matters.
Right.
I'm sorry, no. And if that is your program, fine, so be it. But that will be relegated to the trash heap because it's not something, it's not a program, it's not a consciousness that can allow for a greater sustainability for society over the long term.
Right.
So whenever that physical body dies, that television becomes unplugged, it's no longer there. It's in Sheol, okay, the grave, right? However, the consciousness has another use. It's a program. It's a program that runs the drone. The drone is us. This meat suit that we have is a drone. Right. And we have a consciousness that drives the brain. The brain is a CPU that tells the heart to beat, that tells the lungs to breathe. The CPU is here. But the consciousness is outside of that. And that's why we have in all different philosophies and psychology and everything else, 3 different essences. You've got the ego, the superego, and that sort of thing to go into. I mean, there's the id and the super id, and
yeah,
I so many different.
It's like having multiple personality.
No, but actually you have the body, the mind, and the
Right.
soul. Those are the three essences of our existence. The body is only here in this material realm. It's this meat suit that we're in. And that, just like your TV, when you unplug it, it's no longer going to be useful. So that body is gone. However, you've got the brain, which controls the body. That will also be gone. Many scientists today believe that the consciousness is inside the brain. And so if the brain's gone, the consciousness is gone too. But that is not the fact. Many of the scientists and doctors, Dr. Bruce Lipton is one of the ones that I like to reference frequently, talks about cell structures having like antennas. And what happens, and what the Three Musketeers, that there are three different scientists that talk about that, things that are similar. I got into them when I was trying to study more about consciousness, because you go beyond the brain into consciousness. What is consciousness? And science is having a real trouble defining consciousness itself. We know that it exists. We know that it's there. We know that that it is different from the mind and the body. But science can't explain it completely yet. But many are making that effort. I was among them. And so what I do is I study others that have gone before me. I never try and invent anything myself. I go on what others have actually found. This guy found that thing. That guy found the other thing. This other guy found the other thing. What can I find in common with them? Whatever they all have in common has the tendency to be more true than the individual, mind fucks that people go on. Because individually, we go on these little trips that got nothing to do with anything. But whenever everybody has something in common, that's something that has a tendency to be more true than the other divinations and imaginations of people's minds, right? As far as I relate things.
Right.
So whenever we're relating consciousness, and in the Bible, it tells us that if your right hand causes you to sin, it is better for you to cut off your right hand so that your body, even without your consciousness, even without your right hand, will still go to heaven instead of complete going to hell. Why? Because if you choose to hold on to that which makes you sin, then you're going to go to where that sin sends you, and that is the recycling bin of existence. It's many of associated as other things. However, those parts of you that can be sustainable, that can be used for future civilizations, that will go back to the source and be reused. Not all will be like that. The people that are completely self-absorbed and everything else, they're recycled. Why? Because they have no use for sustainable.
I looked up on Google. There's ego, the super ego, instincts, reality, and morality. ID, ego.
That's the instinct, reality, and morality. That's a new one that I haven't gone down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's more societal, like sociology type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's not a psychological term, and it's not an anthropological term, nor is it a philosophical.
It just says like the super ego is the ethical component of the personality.
Yeah, that's psychology.
Right, and provides the moral standards by which the ego operates. The superego's criticisms, prohibitions, and inhibitions form the person's conscience, and its positive aspirations, ideals represent one idealized self-image or ego ideal. So basically, an ego trip, right?
Yeah, but that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
And you'll have Dr. Jordan Peterson that talks about those things as well. Talk about he likes Carl Jung a lot. He focuses that in his and I've read Jung, I've read Freud, I've read Nietzsche. I mean, I was really pissed when they said Nietzsche said God is dead. I'm like, all right, let me read what this motherfucker actually said. And so I read various different works by Nietzsche, and yes, it's when I was doing the philosophy classes in college, they went deep. And for example, I had a friend of mine one time that told me, how can you question Plato? Who are you to say that you don't like Plato? I said, I'm a person with an opinion. I read Plato. I don't agree with him because I think he's an asshole just looking at everybody else's faults. I never really saw anything that he himself put forward other than the cave. But that the more you study into Plato, the more you realize there's Socrates and everything else. So yeah, he did fundamentally put things in there, but he just liked to pick other people apart. And that was a thing that bothered me about Plato, because it's that essence thing. It's analyzing the soul of the person at that time. Because Plato was alive 4,000 years ago. So how do I know Plato's soul? There's no fucking way. However, you see the essence. You recognize the tree by its fruits. And so the fruits are the things that he produced. So the fruits that Plato produced, the different works and the different conversations he had with different people, those are the fruits. And there we can discern an essence, a certain vibrational frequency that we can attribute to Plato's essence. And we can see that tendency. And when we try to get this sort of empathic perception of his reality, put ourselves in his place, put ourselves in his time, and try and understand, like Socrates, I know that I know nothing. I think that's the most ignorant fucking phrase. I've got a friend of mine that keeps...
But you know where that phrase came from? I know nothing.
Yeah, I know where it came. It came from Socrates, and it was deeper.
No. It came from another show. It came from remember that show Hogan's Heroes?
Oh, yeah, I remember Hogan's Heroes.
Yeah.
I love Hogan's Heroes. But I'm sorry, that was a phrase that came from Socrates 3,000.
It did? Okay, so I know that, but I'm just saying.
Okay. But Hogan's Heroes use it. Yeah, because it's what people like to do to justify ignorance. So, I just know the nothing I know. I don't know anything. That's justified philosophically. Who are you to think you're deep? You don't know shit, and I don't know shit either. So we're all equally screwed. But I don't. 3,000 years later, we know a whole hell of a lot more than Plato knew.
Right.
But the problem is that we're still having the same debate that Plato and Aristotle had. Because Aristotle, and evidently Aristotle won, because our Cartesian way of viewing the world, the materialistic way of viewing the world, was very Aristotelian. Whereas Plato at that point was talking, rereading the conversations between Aristotle and Plato is almost like reading the conversation of 1925 with Niels Bohr and Albert Einstein.
Yeah.
Almost the same conversation. No, the universe is waves, and we realize through the things that we think we can project reality into existence because we are co-creators and that sort of thing. And then you had Einstein, no, I don't believe that God plays dice, because they were discussing quantum theory and the probabilistic reality that is Schrodinger's cat and that sort of thing. It's a whole other story. But Einstein was like, no, things are physical. It's that Cartesian reality of thinking of the universe as a watch, right? A timepiece. You've got the minute hand, the second hand, and the hour hand, but you've got all these mechanisms behind it that make everything work together. It's lots of tiny mechanisms. And so you can tell if this mechanism is going to be over here, this watch is going to be at 3 o'clock. And that's how we can understand the larger solar system, the galaxies, and the universes, because it's one large timepiece. It's a mechanism. And actually, that's what God tells us. He tells us that he created the universe as a timepiece. So it makes sense that he put everything together like watch pieces, to where they work and their orbits, affect each other and everything else.
But one thing I want to say though isn't Plato and Socrates, they pretty much have the same style, right?
Well, actually, some would say that Socrates didn't. Junior actually tells me this all the time. I don't agree with him. I think Socrates was somebody else. To me, Plato was Socrates' student. Socrates didn't necessarily produce any physical works, so the only works that we have from Socrates were produced by Plato. Now, others, and this is Junior, my friend's position, is that Socrates was an invention of Plato, and that's why they seem similar, because it was Plato trying to put himself into a character in there, and so Socrates was a creation of Plato's mind. So 3,000 years later, we're still trying to debate whether a human being existed, but there is anthropological proof that Socrates existed. Mm-hmm. So we know Socrates did exist, and at that point, he was Plato's teacher. And so he was the guy who taught Plato his reason and logic and everything else. Now, Plato went on to teach others like Aristotle. Aristotle was Plato's student. Plato was Socrates' student. And so it's this timeline and that sort of thing, or at least. But nowadays, everything is questionable because nothing is known, and we just know that we know nothing. And so fuck you, because you really don't know because you weren't there.
Right.
So if that's the case, then let's do absolutely nothing because everything is meaningless. Because if nobody knows anything, then how the fuck can we do anything? Because fuck it, give me my bottle and I'm gonna go take a nap at 2:30.
But all right. Well, actually, Pina, I'm gonna end. I had a great live
It's an
stream
hour
with
and a
you.
half. I'm impressed. Thank you very much. And it's midnight my time, which means that your time is 11 o'clock at night. So yeah, it's well past your bedtime. Thank you very much for staying
It
up.
was
and
great.
listening
I had
to
a great
me. I
time.
appreciate
Thanks for
that.
everybody coming in, and thank you for having a Braxis Paranormal Penis perspective coming up. And I had a great time with both of them, Jacob, Brooklyn Chick, everybody that was in here. If I missed anybody, I don't think anybody else is coming in, so we're gonna end it. I'll probably go live this weekend again, so I'll talk to you over the weekend about
Thanks
Monday.
much.
I'll let
Appreciate
you know.
it, Yanni.
So, guys, make sure you follow these great people, and that's about it. I'm out of here. Me and Pina are out of here, and have a good night, everybody. Have a great week. Happy Halloween too.
Have
Everybody.
a good night. I'm not. Let's say Happy All Saints Day. I prefer that.
All Saints Day. Okay, we'll say that. Happy All Saints Day. Happy Halloween, everybody. Love you guys.
Peace.
See y'all later. Bye. Good night.